Hello and welcome to version control for game developers and artists using Plastic SCM for Unity. In this webinar, we will explain the benefits of using version control in game development in Unity and why Plastic SCM is the best version control system integrated in Unity. We will specifically outline and explain several of the main features that make Plastic's integration in Unity so powerful and versatile for the gaming industry. But first, allow me to introduce me. My name is Jordi Mon. I am a PMM at Cody Software, the company that develops Plastic SCM, among other developer tools. At Codys, we develop tools that solve problems. So what are just some of the challenges teams face when building video games in Unity? Well, among others, there is an inherent complexity at the studio level. Developers and artists work in different ways and therefore require a different set of solutions. There is also the problem of how to handle big binary files, such as animations or any big graphic asset. The list goes on, but we believe that Plastic SCM addresses most of these challenges and helps game devs and artists develop games in Unity. Let's quickly understand how different functionalities and interfaces of Plastic help developers and artists make the best games in Unity. So for game devs, Plastic means easy branching and merging functionality. It also allows you to work with a high number of branches in an easy and visual way, which is built in the Branch Explorer. It also handles properly, unlike Git, huge binary files, a common problem in the game industry. It is a great solution for big projects with large files. Unlike Git again, but also unlike Perforce and others, with Plastic, studios decide how to work. Plastic SCM can handle both centralized and distributed ways of working. This versatility and adaptability is currently unparalleled in the version control landscape. Learn more about this at plasticscm.com/games. Let's focus on the Branch Explorer. The Branch Explorer was created after the typical blackboard diagram that every team draws when trying to explain the merge structure of the project. It allows you to create labels in an easy way and attach them to a specific change set. It also allows you to create branches in a couple of clicks. This distributed Branch Explorer renders together branches coming from different replicated repos, so you can gain an overall view even when developers or teams are working on separate repos on different servers. You can also run diffs and merges from the Branch Explorer. It is able to render the entire merge process and explain the merge process as well as perform subtractive merges, for example. So how can Plastic help game designers and artists? Well, we know a one-size-fits-all solution is just not enough for artists. That's why we designed Gluon. Gluon is a specific GUI and workflow that has been built to address artists' problems. All the branching and merging capabilities of Plastic are kept and run under the hood to keep artists focused on their jobs. Let's understand better how Gluon works in Unity. Gluon allows you to use a simple workflow. Artists will take advantage of Gluon's simplified interface and workflow, while developers will use branching and merging and distributed development. Plastic will store the code, branches, and huge binary files seamlessly. With Gluon, you can lock files so that nobody can work with them at the same time. It can also handle large binaries to host projects in the hundreds of gigabytes range. As an artist, your job is to create models, images, videos, and so on. Some of those are huge, and version control must deal with them seamlessly, just like Plastic does. You can also pick up files. Decide in which files you want to work. Make changes and submit them in a few clicks. Easily browse, select, and download the files to work on. Work faster downloading only what you need. So essentially, at the end of the day, why is Plastic SCM relevant to game development studios? Well, because Plastic SCM is a version control system that provides the same solution to different problems. It is also a solid piece of software that has been developed for the last 15 years that delivers performance, ease of use, and versatility to its end users. But don't trust us. Learn from other studios how Plastic have enabled them to bring live new projects. Here are a couple of quotes from some of our clients. Duncan McRoberts, Director of Software Development at the Meta Company. Plastic SCM manages art assets particularly well. The speed of pulling and pushing sizable repos is impressive, and the system is considerably faster than our previous solution. The UI is intuitive for both developers and artists, allowing them to work together effectively. Learn more about this use case at plasticscm.com/games/successstories/meta. Zach Layton, VP of Engineering at Telltale Games. Downloading gigabytes of data with all the changes every day is extremely vital. A tool that people can use the right way is very important to productivity also, and doing source control operations effectively and reliably make you more efficient. This is really important for a piece of software that's going to be used in your studio every day. Last but not least, you need a company that you can reach out to and get help when you need it. Learn more about this particular use case at plasticscm.com/games/successstories/telltale. Now let's move on to the core of this webinar, in which my colleague Manuel Lucio will take the lead. Manuel Lucio is a product expert at Cody software, and he will go through the first steps using Plastic SCM in Unity. The webinar agenda will cover this particular aspects. Download and install Plastic SCM from Unity Asset Store. Connect Plastic SCM with a new Unity project. Join an existing project in Unity with Plastic. Basic Plastic SCM operations in Unity. Set up lockup rules for Plastic Cloud and set the same lockup rules for Plastic Team, the on-premises version of Plastic.
Thank you, Jordi. Now I'm going to explain how to install and configure Plastic SCM. This is the web page we have prepared to guide the Unity users through the install process. To start, click the Download Now button. This new page will offer you two different installations. Of course, both of them support the Unity integration. The Cloud Edition is designed to ease the Plastic SCM Cloud workflow. So if you are using or you plan to use the Plastic SCM Cloud, this is your installer. On the other hand, if you prefer to work with an on-premise server at your office, then use the Team Edition installer. I'm going to use the Team Edition so you can learn how to configure not only the Plastic SCM client, but also the Plastic SCM server. I will download the client plus the server installer. Well, I already have it downloaded, so we can jump into the installation right now. Double-click the installer and type your user password. You will notice that the Plastic SCM installer is pretty simple. Just click Next, accept the agreement. Here you can customize the installation directory if you want. I recommend you to go with the default one. Click Next and choose the components you want to install. Of course, the client is mandatory, and in this case I'm going to be using the server as well, so I will preserve it enabled. I'm going to disable the Visual Studio integration, although it's a very nice integration with Visual Studio. I'm not going to require it. Click Next and choose which default GUI are you going to be using. We have the Plastic SCM GUI, the regular one is the classic. It's very useful for software development. And then we have the Plastic SCM Gluon, which is a special GUI for artists. It's really small, really easy to use, and it doesn't bring all the nice features that the regular Plastic GUI has, such as branching, merging, and more advanced operations. Click Next, and finally click Next to start installation. Now the installer is deploying all the EXEs and DLLs needed by Plastic to run. Click Finish to proceed with the configuration. Once the server starts, you will see the Plastic SCM client configuration wizard. It's pretty simple. You just need to specify the server name and the port you are going to be using. In this case is localhost 8087, the default one. Actually, it has been detected by the configuration wizard, and you just need to click connect in order to confirm that you can talk with the Plastic SCM server. In this case, it's successfully connected. If you are using a different Plastic SCM server rather than the localhost one, you just need to type the server name or IP and the port. Click Finish to complete the installation of Plastic SCM and the configuration of the client. This welcome panel will allow you to start a new project or join an existing one. If this is your first time running Plastic, go ahead and create a new project. If the Plastic SCM server you are connecting with is already having project, choose to join one. As this is my first time running Plastic, I will click OK. And this is the Plastic SCM GUI interface. Of course, this project is still empty, and the Branch Explorer will be empty as well. We only have the default change set. As soon as you start adding new items to the repository and creating new change sets, all the views will start having content. So now that you have Plastic SCM up and running at your machine, you are able to start using the Unity plugin. You can create a new Unity project and connect it to an empty Plastic SCM repository, or you can download an already existing Unity project from a Plastic SCM repository.
After creating your brand new Unity project, open the Edit Project Settings Editor panel. That's where you can find the version control preferences. Choose Plastic SCM as the version control drop-down menu. Here you will need to specify some information to let the Plastic SCM client connect with the Plastic SCM server. Repository name will be used to specify the name of the Plastic SCM repository you are going to be using. If you write a repository name that doesn't exist, the plugin will create it for you. A Plastic SCM repository is a database where all the revisions, changesets, branches, labels, and many more objects are stored. Workspace name will be the name for the local Plastic SCM workspace where your Unity project has been created. A Plastic SCM workspace is a working copy of the Plastic SCM repository used to create changes and deliver them to the repository by using the check-in operation. The last parameter is the glue-on mode. Plastic SCM supports two different workflows, one for developers and one for artists. The artist one is called glue-on, and you can learn more about it from our website. If this is your first time setting up Unity and Plastic, I recommend you to set this mode to false. After completing all the information, you can click the Connect button. The status will display connected once the repository and the workspace are created. Now you are ready to start adding content to the repository. Open the Window Version Control view, and you will find that Unity has automatically added the project settings to the repository. Right-click the root list item and click Submit to run a check-in for those files. Write a small comment describing the content you are submitting. Once you have it, click Submit and you will have your first change set created. First, create an empty Unity project like this one. Then configure the Plastic SCM plugin by opening the Edit, Project Settings, Editor Preferences. Choose Plastic SCM at the Version Control drop-down menu. Now you will need to specify some information to let the Plastic SCM client connect with the Plastic SCM server. Type at the repository name field the name of the Plastic SCM repository that is already keeping the Unity project you want to start working with. The workspace name will be the name for the local workspace where your Unity project has been created. A Plastic SCM workspace is a working copy of the Plastic SCM repository used to create changes and retrieve changes from others. The last parameter is the glue-on mode. Plastic SCM supports two different workflows, one for developers and one for artists. The artist one is called glue-on, and you can learn more about it from our website. If this is your first time setting up Unity and Plastic, I recommend you to set this mode to false. After completing all the information, you can click the Connect button. The status will display connected once the workspace is created. Now, in order to get the existing Unity project content, open the window Version Control View. You will find that the Incoming Changes tab is plenty of content. Simply click Apply all incoming changes to get all the Unity project content. Unity will process all the assets downloaded from the Plastic SCM repository. This process may take a while the first time. I'm going to start with the check-in operation. Once you create a few changes, you will notice that the outgoing view is going to start growing. By the way, you can always open the version control view from the window menu. Okay, so now I'm going to modify this small object by moving it inside the scene. As soon as I type Ctrl X or I use the File Save Scenes option, a checkout operation will occur. You can notice that the file, in this case the scene, and its meta file is now inside the outgoing changes view. We are also having a small decorator in order to help you to identify those files that are checked out. A check-in operation can be triggered using the right-click menu and using the Submit option. You will need to type a small comment explaining what you have done, in this case moving an object, and finally clicking Submit. With every check-in, a new change set is created. You can review all the change sets in your repository by opening the Branch Explorer. You can open the Plastic SCM Branch Explorer by clicking the Show Branch Explorer button, as well inside the Version Control View. Here you can visualize all the change sets created and all the branches your repository is having. If you click on the latest one, you can review the comment we have just wrote. If I double click one change set, I will open the Plastic SCM differences, where you can review the previous revision, the old revision versus the new revision. You can use the Branch Explorer to perform more advanced operations, such as creating new branches or even pushing content from a local server to a remote server. Another very useful Plastic SCM operation is the revert operation. Let me move this object to another position and use the Ctrl S shortcut in order to save it. As before, the file appears here. If I'm not comfortable with the changes I have just made, I can revert them by right-clicking the object and choosing the revert operation. This will undo all my changes and will recover the previous revision. Unity will sometimes check out files without really changing their content. You can easily revert those files by using the Context menu Revert and Change option. Of course, this is just an introduction of the Plastic plugin. Check all the features at our website. Plastic SCM supports a way to lock assets so nobody else is able to modify the same file at the same time. This is really good for files that cannot be merged. By using the exclusive lock, you will avoid the merge operation to happen. If you use the Plastic SCM Cloud Edition, you will need to set up the lock rules at your cloud.plasticscm.com organization using the Cloud Portal. This is the edit page of the Plastic SCM Cloud Portal. Here you can click the Edit Lock Rules button to configure exclusive locking for binary files. Below, at the repository list, select the repository where you want to apply the lock rules and start typing the file extensions you want to include. There's a button to load the common lock rules. The Plastic SCM Cloud will allow you to specify organization rules that will be applied to all the repositories at once. For game development using Unity, we recommend you to add any image or binary format you may use, and sometimes even exins and prefabs are also interesting to be treated in the same way. Plastic SCM supports a way to lock assets so nobody else is able to modify the same file at the same time. This is really good for files that cannot be merged. By using the exclusive lock, you will avoid the merge operation to happen. If you use the Plastic SCM Team Edition, you will need to set up the lock rules at your on-premise Plastic SCM server using the WebAdmin interface. It's a web portal where you can configure multiple Plastic SCM server preferences. The lock rules is one of them. This is the Plastic SCM server WebAdmin. The last option at the left panel is Lock Rules. Here, by clicking the Add button, you can add the repository where you want to apply the lock rules. First, type the repository name and start writing the extensions of the files you want to lock during the checkout operation. We support regular expressions, so for example, just an start will make to treat everything as exclusive lock for that repository. Notice you can use the Generate Common Rules button in order to populate the configurations with common extensions of files that cannot be merged. For game development using Unity, we recommend you to add any image format you may use, and sometimes even exins and prefabs are also interesting to be treated in the same way.